Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to address this opening ceremony of the Beijing Forum. I look forward to many valuable and thought-provoking discussions, and I expect we will have through this conference. We have gathered today to discuss new challenges and opportunities of globalization. Firstly, this year, we have all been affected by one of the challenges of the globalized world we live in. Because of the porous nature of our borders and the ease of travel, the coronavirus pandemic spread to every corner of the globe to an unprecedented level. Today, it is important to carefully study the lessons learned from our collective as well as individual approach and learn to improve the world's preparedness and capacity to withstand a shock. But it is just as important to start to look ahead at the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the ripple effect of globalization has reached far and wide. It has opened markets to an unprecedented extent, creating new opportunities and lifting billions of people out of extreme poverty. It has also helped develop a geopolitical economic normal, which has been steadily transforming global affairs. Even before the pandemic, the world order we had known for decades was changing. The advent of technological advances means that this will now happen at a greater pace than even before. More recently, the uneven way in which the coronavirus has affected different countries will certainly have a further effect on the dynamics of geopolitical influence, although exactly how this will manifest itself remains to be seen. Most notably, ladies and gentlemen, repeated and prolonged lockdowns have driven many into serious economic difficulty, and in some cases even brought social unrest. So overall, it is safe to assume that the world we are entering is, in this new year, will markedly be different than the one we started in 2020. The key is, will we learn to adapt with it? Ladies and gentlemen, thousands of years ago, Asia was the cradle of civilization. Itself, it brought vast development all over the world through the Silk Road, spreading innovation, learning far and wide. Throughout history, Asia has continued to contribute vast amounts to human progress. And now, it is once again front and center in the effort for the world to recover from this shock, to pass the experience and aid, and to move forward to rebuild. Ladies and gentlemen, my experience both in and out of government has taught me a multipolar world is better than a unipolar one. Its existence of new world powers is undoubtedly a source of strength to all nations. Yet despite this, where some should see the opportunity, they instead see it as a risk and they want the status quo. In recent years, the trend has been towards major countries becoming increasingly siloed, withdrawing from their role on the world stage and turning to increasingly protectionist policies. Some have still not opened up their markets fully, creating barriers to global trade. The health crisis, which has shut borders, disrupted supply chains, hit consumer confidence, has only deepened this shift. Overall, it is clear to me that the path to prosperity does not lie in insularity, but in embracing the opportunities of globalization. Through this, we can ensure competition, increasing productivity and incentives to innovate, ultimately boosting collective prosperity. However, ladies and gentlemen, in order to truly make the most of opportunities available, we must do more to build linkages and interdependencies. In some cases, this will involve rebuilding metaphorical bridges that were destroyed as a consequence of the pandemic. And this makes increasingly our interconnectivity more important than ever before. And this will help in encouraging trade, investment, and people-to-people contact, even if it is by Zoom for now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, connectivity is the true safeguard of peace. Now, let me say a few words about rebuilding our economies and aiming to make them stronger than before, while the disruption and the devastation to lives and livelihoods that too many countries are experiencing will require serious coordination efforts. It is also an opportunity to rebuild with better standards, better governance, more sophistication, and therefore more competitive markets. We must focus on innovation. As consumer trends and global demands change rapidly, so too must the ability to improve, adapt, remain competitive, build economies of scale, and always remain ahead of the curve. Ladies and gentlemen, the Belt and Road Initiative, launched and led by President Xi Jinping, has set a new standard for global cooperation, one which I hope will be replicated by countries around the world. It has been a real game changer for Pakistan. Boosting development and developing the port around Gwadar, opening up an important new route to the connectivity and trade of Pakistan. More recently, Pakistan has benefited from support and expertise from China during the health crisis. All of this has further contributed to the strength of the relationship between our two nations. As I witnessed during my years in office, this has always been Pakistan's strongest and most enduring friendship. One that is driven by mutual respect, harmony, and commonality of interest. It is a model for how bilateral relations could and should be. Ladies and gentlemen, the WHO and other health agencies should become the global clearinghouse of information, pandemic management, pandemic avoidance, and disaster relief accessible to all. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying, no two countries' interests will ever fully align, but it is important to find ways of reducing the trust deficit between them and creating an enabling environment for peace and progress and harmony. The world faces many collective challenges, ladies and gentlemen, from coronavirus to climate change. For any one nation to tackle them alone, cooperation is the watchword for 2021. And in order to truly succeed in the world of tomorrow, we will need to have an open mind. It is time to let go of old beliefs and habits and embrace the opportunities in front of us and build a more stable and peaceful world. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.